Wrexham FC are the oldest Welsh football club and the third oldest football club in world football. Over the years they have been known for their giant killing cup antics, but in the early 2000s they fell on hard times and found themselves in administration. This marked the start of a 12-year stint in non-league. However, in November 2020 their fortunes were to change when Canadian actor Ryan Reynolds and American actor Rob McElhenney bought the club. Since then they have had a world famous Netflix series made about them, a playoff semi-final defeat and an FA Trophy runners-up medal. Last year though the club ended its 15-year absence from the Football League as they were promoted as champions, amassing a huge tally of 111 points. After winning their first league title for 45 years, a lot of the football world are wondering just how far they can go under the ownership of the Hollywood actors. In today's video I'm giving myself 3 seasons to see just how far we can take Wrexham Football Club. Going into a first season in League 2 there's a lot of pressure as the media have predicted us to finish in first place. The board gave me £200,000 to spend. I had about 10,000 spare in the wage budget. I'll start with the players I've got out of the club first. Jake Bickerstaff joins Torquay on loan until the end of the season. Reece Hosanna heads to Portsmouth in a £26,000 deal. Jacob Mendy heads to Spain for £12,250. Aaron Hayden goes to Barnsley in a £21,500 deal. And the final player out the door, Luke Young, who heads to Port Vale for £35,000. Now the transfers in, a lot of the business I've done has been free transfers. A lot of experienced players, but I think we need that in League 2. Kean Bryan was the first one in. Centre back, can also play on the left. He was on a free, as was Matty Langstaff, who can play anywhere through the middle of midfield. Matt Loughton also joins, experienced right back, has spent time at Burnley. He was a free transfer. And the same goes for Luke Freeman, can play anywhere across the midfield, right, centre or left. He's got good all-round attributes. He is 31, but on a free transfer for League 2, I couldn't say no to this one. Kyle McAllister's the one player I've spent money on. Can play a number of positions, comes in from Forest Green for £140,000. He's more of a backup, but as I say, he's a good squad player to have in the team. And the final transfer was Ben Greenwood from Bournemouth on loan until the end of the season. Can play left back or left wing back, so he'll be an handy player to have around. Now this is the tactic I'm going to use for the season, and if we quick pick without restriction, the best 11, Loughton, Bryan and Greenwood go into the back line. Freeman is an attacking midfielder. The one problem I've got, Paul Mullen's injured at the start of the season, but we do have Fletcher and Ollie Palmer who can fill in until he's ready to play. Now I'm going to simulate the season. Let's hope we can kick it off with a promotion in this first season of 3. So season number 1's over. I have a little confession to make before we go over everything. After the first day defeat to MK Dons, I changed the old tactic. I went for a 4-2-4, a gegenpress style of football, and it seemed to work. We won the league as champions. We go into League 1 with 94 points. We lost just 8 games through the season, drawing 10, winning 28. Stephen Fletcher was the top scorer in the division with 29 goals. Paul Mullen was also up there with 24 goals. Ryan Barnett topped the assist chart with 11 assists throughout the season. As for the cup competitions, we were knocked out in the 3rd round of the FA Cup by Tottenham. No shame there. Same goes for the Carabao Cup, where we were defeated by Nottingham Forest on penalties, so we can hold our heads up high there. The EFL Trophy I'm not too bothered about. We were knocked out in the northern section, but it's that league table that I like the sight of as we go up as champions. If we have a little look through the squad, Stephen Fletcher managed a massive 36 goals in all competitions, 27 from Paul Mullin. New man Luke Freeman got 13 goals and 14 assists in all competitions, so a brilliant season from him. However, he's not happy at the club and he's forcing a move. He won't sign a new contract, so he's one we're going to lose. The same with Stephen Fletcher, who does have a transfer arranged to Queen's Park. And taking a look at the squad planner for next season, it's looking a bit grim, to be honest. At the back, we're short in almost every position. We have no goalkeepers left at the club, as Okonkwo was on loan from Arsenal. Our other two keepers are retiring, so we've got loads of business to do if we're to stay in League One. The board have given me £340,000 to spend for the upcoming season, with £60,000 spare in the wage budget. So let's see if we can perform some miracles in the transfer market. And there has been a lot of business as we go into season number 2. 11 players were out of contract. I was quite happy to lose a lot of them, other than Luke Freeman, who I discussed earlier, just didn't want to stay at the club. He's left, as has Stephen Fletcher, who's gone to Queen's Park on a free. James McLean's another one we lost. He's headed out on a free transfer. We've sold Billy Waters for £21,500 to Yeovil Town. James Jones has also left for £46,000. Now, if we take a look at the transfers in, every one of them is a free transfer. I've worked some magic. Hopefully it'll do as well as we head into League One. First signing was James Wilson, striker, as a backup really, knows the league, decent player to have around, as is Gary Medine, another striker. He's getting on, he's 33, on a free transfer though. I think he can do a job for us if we get injuries to Mullin, etc. Now this one I am excited about. I've got him in on a free deal. Andre Gomez plays in midfield. You'll probably know of this man. Has spent time at Benfica, Barcelona, Everton. Combined transfer fees of 75 million. He's a 30-year-old now, but in League One, he should be absolute quality for me. As I mentioned earlier, we had no goalkeepers left at the club. That was my #1 priority. And we brought in Liam Roberts on a free transfer. 29-year-old goalkeeper. Not amazing, but decent attributes all over really. He'll be the #1 keeper this season. And as a backup to him, Teddy Sharman-Lowe comes in on a free transfer, spent time at Chelsea. He's a good young goalkeeper who will do just fine as a backup. The backline was another thing that needed strengthening this season, and Joe Rafferty does that. He's come in as a right back. Again, another free transfer, which I'm very happy with. And he'll have good competition there, as I have brought in Tom Edwards, another right back, but can also play central defence. On the left side of defence, I've brought in Conor Ogilvie, played at Portsmouth last season, had a very good match rating for us. I was surprised to get him on a free deal, but I've done exactly that. In central defence, I've brought in Brandon Cooper, who spent last season at Swansea. He'll be a good player to have around the squad. As will Charlie Good, who looks an absolutely brilliant central defender for this league. Another free deal. Now let's get into the attacking areas. Shea Ojo comes in. Spent time in the Belgian Pro League last season. Had a really good season. 27-year-old. Can play on either wing, attacking midfielder, so I'm really happy with this one. The same goes for Admiral Musquay, brought in on a free transfer again, can play either wing and up front if we need him to. Spent last season at Exeter City in League One, where he bagged himself 8 goals and had a very impressive match rating. Now just 2 more signings I've brought in for the season. These are loan signings, but I'm really happy with both of them. We'll start with Louis Barry. Comes in on loan from Aston Villa. Can play either wing. Luke's a really good talent, and I'm pleased to get him over the line. Now, the final signing I brought in from Fulham on loan until the end of the season, Rodrigo Muniz, has all the attributes to play the advanced forward role alongside Paul Mullin, and I'm hoping that their goals are going to fire us up the League One table. As for the tactic, I'm going to use the same one that won us the promotion last season. It may be a bit risky in a higher league going so attacking, but I'm going to go with it anyway. I'm securing Gomez, Mullin and Muniz in there, as I believe they are going to be our key players this season. So let's simulate season number 2 and see if we can finish higher up than in 14th place where the media are predicting us to finish. Season number 2's over, promotion number 2 in the bag. We're heading for the championship. We go up in 2nd place in a very tight League One table. Bristol Rovers are champions, well done to them, but we go up just a point ahead of Reading, but it doesn't really matter. 4th round knocked out of the FA Cup by West Ham. Good run there. 2nd round in the Carabao Cup, knocked out to Sheffield Wednesday. 3rd round Northern section out to Lincoln City in the EFL Trophy. But it's that promotion that counts again, and we have done it. And when we look at the squad page, it's not hard to see why we were promoted. The deadly duo, Muniz and Mullin, hitting 61 goals between them. They also got 21 assists between them, so they weren't just finishing off the chances, they were making them as well. Absolutely brilliant. Admiral Musquet, free transfer, you remember, 20 goals in just 28 starts, and the 11 assists for him as well. Shea Ojo, another free transfer, 13 goals, 17 assists from him. You might be wondering, where's Louis Barry in all this? I dropped a right one with him. I only loaned him until January. He went back to Villa. I couldn't re-sign him. Instead, I brought in Morgan Rogers on loan from Middlesbrough, another attacking left midfielder. He played 14 games for me at the end of the season, scoring 4, creating 6 goals with a 7.2 average rating. He did the job I brought him in to do. When we looked through the schedule, we did have a decent start to the season, not many losses. When we hit this patch here, that's when I realised something wasn't right. That is the time when Barry went back to Villa. I got Rodgers in just before deadline day, and you can see the difference he made towards the end of the season. Now, looking at the budget for next season, we have 1.8 million roughly, but the wage budget has gone up massively. We now have 277,746 for wages. We're currently spending 186,000, so I'll have to see what I can do in the transfer market. So despite being in the championship for this 3rd season, it was quite difficult to get transfers into the club, as no one wanted to seem to join. As for the transfers out of the club, James Wilson joins MK Dons for 245,000. He came on a free. He's never really featured, so that's a good deal for the club. Mikey Heyman and Anthony Ford both go out on free transfers, and that's all for the transfers out. As for the transfers in, Paul Valentin joins from Sheffield Wednesday for £2,900. Left back, can play left wing back, good addition to the squad. Gavin Kilkenny comes in from Bournemouth in a £9,000 deal. He can play centre mid, defensive mid, so we'll need him throughout the season. Jacob Stolisic comes in from Leicester, a decent goalkeeper for this league, comes into the club for £190,000. He's the most I've spent in any transfer in my time at Wrexham. Joe Galdart joins from Leeds United on a season-long loan I'm pretty happy with this one. He was closely followed by Michael Keane, who comes in on a free deal from Everton. I'm only paying him £5,000 a week. For this division, he's still a top defender. As is Mason Holgate, who also comes in from Everton on a free deal again. He can play central defence, but I'm thinking of using him as a defensive midfielder this season. And we'll have plenty of cover in that midfield as Steven Alzate joins on a free deal. Spent last season at Standard Liège in Belgium on loan from Brighton. We get him in on a free transfer. And this is when I really started struggling getting the players in. No one wanted join. The funds were running low because of signing on fees, etc. But we did have Liverpool as a senior affiliate, so I utilised that. I brought in James Balagizi, can play in the midfield, on the left, right if he needs to. He's a decent loan player. He's only until January, but we can extend the deal. Luke Chambers also comes in from Liverpool. I'm looking at playing him as a left back. He looks a really good talent, and we're happy to have him in on loan until the end of the season. And the final transfer of this window, Jarell Quansah, comes in from Liverpool on loan until the end of the season. A big thank you to them if we manage to stay up in the Championship, as we're not paying any weekly wage or monthly fee for any of the three loan players. They really did help us out towards the end of the window, and this lad is highly rated. And this is the tactic I'm going with this season in the Championship. I felt I needed to go a bit more defensive, and when my assistant picks the best 11, this is what he comes up with. Stolisic in goal, Valentin on the right, Chambers on the left with Keane and Quansah in the middle, Holgate playing that anchor role, Kilkenny and Gomez in the middle, Galdart on the right attacking midfield, Musqui on the left attacking midfield, with Paul Mullin pulling the strings up front. And I'm pretty happy with the bench we've got as well. We've got a decent squad. It's not amazing. I'd have liked to have got some more players in. We didn't have the funds. Players were turning us down left, right and centre. But I'm happy with it. So let's simulate season number 3 and hopefully finish this 3 seasons at Wrexham on a high. And the third and final season is over. We've stayed in the Championship, finishing in 19th place. We've just done enough. 7 points clear of Millwall. They go down with Cardiff and Plymouth. We won 13 of the games, drawing 9. We lost 24. We've done enough. We're staying in the Championship. As for the cup competitions, disappointment in the Carabao Cup, as we go out in the first round losing to Notts County, but we had a great FA Cup run, losing to Arsenal in the 5th round. If we take a look at a run, we came in the 3rd round, beat Chester 3-1 in the Derby game. The fans will have loved that result. We then beat Rochdale in the 4th round 2-1 at home, before going out to Arsenal in the 5th round 2-0 at home. There was one trophy we won at the start of the season, and I'm going to count this one. We won the Friendly Cup, beating Al Ahly from Saudi Arabia 3-2 in the final. If we take a look at the squad and where the goals came from that have kept us in the Championship, Mullin once again, it's 15 goals, only played 28 games. He was injured from February and didn't feature for the rest of the season. Admiral Musque's once again up there, 13 goals, 9 assists. He's been a brilliant free transfer for the last 2 seasons. Joe Galdart got 8 goals and 31 starts on loan from Leeds this season. I'm quite happy with that. We were never going to score loads of goals. It was surviving that was the main thing. As we look at the schedule, we had a really good start to the Championship campaign. The wheels sort of fell off towards the end of August. We didn't win a game in September. We picked up some vital wins at the start of October. But as you can see, when Mullin gets injured at the start of February, we pick up just 3 wins and 3 draws until the end of the season. We'd already got most of our points by that time. and that's what's kept us in the Championship. So everybody, that's the end of the video. I do hope you've enjoyed it. The question at the start was just how far I could take Wrexham Football Club in 3 seasons. The answer, from League 2 into the Championship, where we've just secured our survival. Throughout the video, I only spent £340,000 on transfer fees, showing that you can have success in FM24 without splashing a load of cash. If you have enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to the channel, hit the like button for me, and let me know in the comments if there's any clubs you'd like to see me have a go at. Until the next video, goodbye from me.